All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about rewriting equations in slope-intercept form. Everything that I write down, you need to have in your notebook. Feel free to pause this anytime and get caught up. I've already got a few things written down already. Okay, so we have been talking about slope-intercept form for the last couple of weeks. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. It's super useful because it tells us the slope, which is represented by m, and the y-intercept, which is represented by b. With those two bits of information, we can create a line. Let's start off practicing that idea in these two example problems, and just to really show how useful slope-intercept form can actually be. If you are feeling comfortable with this, you can pause the video and try on your own. But if you need a little refresher, that's what I'm going to go over right now. So let's start with this first one. My slope is going to be 2. My y-intercept is 3. When I'm graphing, I always start with the y-intercept. That's where the line crosses the y-axis. Right, I've got my axes written here. Here's X, here's Y. So I'm going to start at 1, 2, 3 and plot a point. There's my Y-intercept. The line is going to cross the Y-intercept somewhere along this line. Once I've plotted that point, I'm going to look at my slope, which in this case is 2. Remember, this slope is rise over run. And 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So I know that it's going to rise 2 and go over 1. Now, since it's positive, I know that it's going to be in this direction somehow. This is negative, would be a negative slope. This would be a positive. So I need to keep that in mind when I am plotting these points. So what I'm going to do is go up 2, 1, 2, positive 2, and I'm going to go positive 1 over. Plot that point. I can do the same thing. Go up 2 over 1. Same thing down here. Thinking about negatives, I can go down 2 and over 1 in the negative world. And negative divided by negative is a positive, so that's going to work too. Once I have 3 points or so, I can take my straight edge, connect the dots, draw my line. Don't forget to put arrows to show that that point goes on and on forever, okay? If you want, you can give the second one a shot, maybe pause the video and work it on your own. I'm going to do it as another refresher. So in this case, my B is negative. So the line's going to cross the y-axis at -4. So that's where I'm going to start. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my slope is -3. So it can be written as -3 over 1. Remember, that's rise over run. Since it's a negative slope, I know that the direction is going to be somewhere like this. This is positive, like in our first problem, but this one's going to be negative. So I know that it needs to take that direction. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, positive over 1. And since I'm running out of room down here, I can go in the other direction. And even though now I'm going positive 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm going in the negative direction for run, which makes my slope negative. I can do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 1. So I can already see that the line that I'm going to draw, did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can already see that the line that I'm going to draw is in that negative direction. So I know I'm on the right track. Connect my points, draw my arrows, and I'm done with that one. So this is just a quick refresher in how useful this slope-intercept form is for us, where our slope is given and our y-intercept is given. And with those 2 points, we can plot any line. It's not always going to be that easy, and that's what today's lesson is all about. Let's start with 4x minus 2 y equals 12. If I asked you to graph this line, it would be a lot more difficult because it is not in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form has y all by itself. There's a coefficient in front of the x, and there's a constant all by itself. So this doesn't really help us. We need it to look like that in order to graph a line. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to make this equation match this one. We are going to rewrite this equation so that it's in slope-intercept form. And we've already talked about why it is so important to have it in slope-intercept form. To rewrite equations in slope-intercept form, all we need to do is isolate y using SAD met. So that's our only rule. We're trying to get y all by itself. Once y is by itself, like it is up here, it's going to turn into slope-intercept form. So we are going to basically solve for y in very similar ways what we did in the last unit where we're solving for x. It's the same process here. We're trying to pull all the layers away from y so that it's all by itself. Right now, though, it's embedded in this left side of the equation. There's this 4x we got to get rid of, and there's a -2 that's in front of the y. Well, according to SAD-MEG, we need to do some adding and subtracting first. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this 4x, and we're actually going to bring it over to the other side. Remember, we're trying to get y all by itself. So since this is a 4x, I'm going to take 4x away so that it drops out. But if I take 4x away from the left side, got to do that to the right side. And I'm left with -2y equals, and I could write this as 12 minus 4x. Since I'm going for slope-intercept form, the x term always comes first. So I'm going to flip these guys around and making sure I keep track of that negative sign. So -2y equals -4x plus 12. Yeah, so we've taken the 4x over from this side, brought it over here. Now I got one more step to isolate this y. And right now it's being multiplied by a -2. So I need to divide by a -2. And here's where something new is happening here. So my -2s are going to drop out. That's what we want. I need to now divide that whole right side by -2. Not just the -4x, not just the 12. I need to divide them both together. So another way to think about this is if I'm dividing by something, there's two terms, I need to do some division to each of these terms. So another way I could write this is y equals -4x divided by -2 plus that's 12 divided by -2. So again, once I'm dividing by a number, I need to divide both of these terms by that same number. So I'm dividing the -4x by -2 and the +12 by -2. And I showed that here. Let's clean this up. I'm going to write it over here. Y equals, when I'm dividing with a variable, all I need to do is look at the coefficient. So what's -4 divided by -2? That's a +2. That's my new coefficient for x. And then over here, 12 divided by 2, that's -6. So I can write that as -6. And this is now in slope-intercept form. We started with an equation out here that's not in slope-intercept form. We isolated y, and we've got our slope-intercept form here. So my slope is going to be +2. My y-intercept is going to be -6. And that is how we do these sort of problems. Let's do one more. (3y plus 6x equals -15). It's not written in slope-intercept form. We want it to be written in slope-intercept form, so I need to isolate the y using SAD-MEG. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring this x term over here by subtracting 6x so that they drop out. And I need to subtract 6x from the right side. I'm left with 3y equals, I've got a -15 and a -6x. I didn't mention this in the last problem. Remember that these are not like terms, so we cannot combine them. We're just going to leave them separate from each other. And I want to make sure they're in the right order for y equals mx plus b form, slope-intercept form. So I'm going to say -6x comes first, and the -15 comes second. Final step, I've got 3 in front of the y, so I need to divide by 3. And I'm going to divide this whole thing by 3. Remember, when I'm dividing by 3, I need to divide each of these terms by that 3. So another way to write this is y equals -6x divided by 3 minus 15 divided by 3. So the 3 is being applied to both of these terms here, and I'm left with y equals coefficients, -6 divided by -3 is -2. X goes along for the ride. Minus 15 divided by 3 is 5. And here is my slope-intercept form. Thanks for watching.